Greetings, B-movie aficionados.
Hello, welcome to A Couple of Flicks. I am Tristan.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Zach.
And this is we're talking about our individual lists of films that we discovered in 2019 that we hadn't seen before. So
Okay, yeah.
So do either you want to go first or
I can go first. My 5 is it's pretty quick. My 5th one, because it's ones I've mentioned. One I mentioned previous podcast, one I mentioned a couple times. So I put them in one. It's The Only Lovers Left Alive and One Cut of the Dead. So I won't go too much into them. I'll expand a little bit on One Cut of the Dead, just because I tried to keep it, it is better to go in fairly blind, but I'll give a little more synopsis just to get you guys to watch it. Like, I want you to see it just to talk about it at least. But it's so the first 30 minutes is the one cut, and then the rest of the actual movie is a movie of how they made it, and it's like not like a documentary, but it's a movie of like a film crew making that movie, and how it all came together and everything, and so it's like a filmmaker's movie more than a horror movie or anything.
Nice.
So yeah.
All right, that sounds cool. By the way, there's a documentary about a girl who I think she's 13 or 14 who made a zombie movie called the documentary is called Zombie Girl. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Okay, neither have I. I just figured I'd throw that title at you. So.
I've heard of that one.
Oh, you've heard of it?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but that might be interesting to watch. Just because that's interesting, the idea of a 13-year-old girl making a zombie movie. So. Should I go next? Or?
Doesn't matter to me.
All right, my number 5 pick I watched was it's a movie. I think it's a Spanish exploitation film called Vampiros Lesbos, which was directed by Jesus Franco, and I hadn't seen it until this year. I had heard about it, but I didn't really know anything about it. I thought it was going to be really crappy and bad, but I actually ended up liking it a lot. It had interesting atmosphere, and it was visually kind of cool, and I dug it. I thought it was a fun little movie, but it's not. I don't know if I would like praise it as like a good movie necessarily. It just happens to be a movie that I liked a lot. So.
Is it basically like the same kind of feel as his other stuff?
Yeah, like not really good, but you still get into it anyway. Like
yeah. All right. My number 5. I think I talked about it before, but it was Wreck. The found footage zombie movie.
Yeah.
Like REC.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know it was a zombie movie. I knew it was a found footage.
Zombie or infected, I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if 28 Days Later is considered a zombie movie, then Wreck is considered a zombie movie too. So, although actually, let's not even talk about the sequels to Wreck. The first Wreck is worth seeing.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good.
Yeah.
And just downhill from there.
Yeah,
Of course.
definitely.
All right. So my list again is a little different too. It's more of movies that and it's not even all movies. It's like things I also have maybe changed my mind on or something like that. So this is one I have been watching, and it's not a movie. It's a TV series, Friends. So I started watching it just because it's like, you see, what's some good movie or shows to binge, and The Office, Parks and Recs, and for whatever reason, Friends is always up there too.
Yeah.
And I remember just not being interested in it because I felt more of like a girly sitcom. I don't know if that's I don't know. feel
hard
weird
to-
saying it, but like I think it appeals more to a female audience.
Yeah, like it's the kind of thing that like just initially like from the
From the outside,
yeah, it doesn't
Guys
seem
can
like
definitely
something
watch
that you
it,
would.
and it is
yeah.
and can get definitely like is watchable for all audiences, but like the outside looking in, it could definitely be seen as more of a watchable by girls or females or women. I don't know what they want to call
Well,
themselves these days.
it's because a lot of the time, those kinds of shows tend to appeal more to a female audience. You know, like shows that are about like human relationships and stuff. They all, I mean,
which I like.
they're and I mean those kinds of things can appeal to male audiences a lot too. They appeal to me.
Yeah.
And but I think just generally like the overall impression that people have of each other, or at least based on my experience, and it sounds like based on your experience, that the show, like a show like Friends, just seems like the type of show that you wouldn't be into, basically.
Yeah, and I gave it. So the thing is, I started watching. It was all right in the first seasons. I thought it was better.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I wish they kept that monkey throughout the whole series. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like that. You know, I understand it's probably hard to do animal stuff, but at the time that they were making a shit ton of money, I'm sure they could have done it. But then, like, started getting to this point where I was like, wait a second, I've seen this, and I've seen this. And then it dawned on me that I had seen the last few seasons of it.
You just forgot
I
about
just
them.
completely fucking forgot that I had seen them. I was like, oh,
That's
okay,
funny.
this is actually, and I don't like laugh tracks, and I hated all the characters. They were all fucking annoying. I liked Chandler because he was funny. He had like the funny lines, but he was also just an asshole to his friends. Like, I don't know how they would be friends with him because they would drop some heavy like personal thing, and then he would just fucking make fun of them for it.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, why are you guys even hanging out with him? Even though he was the funniest part of it, but like, so I stopped, and I was like, so it's not something I liked. It's something that I changed my mind on and did not like. I said no to. But I did watch it this year.
Well, one of my choices is kind of a TV show as well, but that's not my fourth choice. But was there anything else you wanted to say about Friends?
Nope.
or-
Just
Oh.
I changed my mind. It's no. I don't like it. It's just overall not that funny, and honestly.
Yeah, I haven't seen it for a long time. I've never felt compelled to rewatch it. It's the same with Seinfeld. I just, there's just shows where like I liked it at the time, but once was enough. Like, I just don't think I'd get much out of it today.
I never really had an interest in it. Like, I'd catch clips of it because my mom used to watch it. It never interested me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Never did for me. Well, apparently I did fucking watch it, but I
Yeah.
always was gonna rewatch, or I guess rewatch it, but watch it because everyone said it's a good binge show. But I disagree.
Yeah, I can respect that. I don't think I would ever binge it. I've watched the whole show. I watched the whole show before Netflix and all that stuff because my sisters were watching it all the time. So
Yeah.
I'd seen that I'd seen every episode by the time people could binge it, and
Yeah.
I don't think I could
I
binge watch
definitely
that
didn't
show.
watch the first seasons but I did. I know I watched the last. Now that I thought back, I did watch the last couple while it was airing,
Mm,
just because everyone was. I think.
yeah. My number 4 choice is it's a Spanish horror movie called A la Carta, which is a killer nun movie. I
Better than the Nun, I hope.
Actually, I don't think I didn't see The Nun.
It was bad.
Oh, okay. Thank you for warning me.
Don't.
Yeah, I wasn't really
There was
super-
one funny line, but don't.
Yeah. I mainly watched it because Guillermo del Toro is a fan. He mentioned it, I think. Something I don't remember, but I remember I remember reading something that he said about it, and that made me want to watch it. And then I put it on my watch list. But that was about 10 years ago that I did that, and I just
Yeah.
finally got around to watching it this year. So. And it was good. I liked it. It was messed up, which I wouldn't have wanted it to be any other way. So, but it's a messed up killer nun movie. So
Nunsploitation.
yeah, as far as like nunsploitation movies go, it's not as good as the movie The Devils, or there was another one I liked, but I can't remember the name of it. It's not as good as that, but it's still pretty good though for a killer nun movie. It's one of the better ones. So. Yeah, I liked it more than Satanical Pandemonium, which that one was a little. That was all right, but I didn't like that one as much as I liked Alucarda. So.
Yes. So my number 4 was the 36th Chamber of Shaolin.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, I was on a Wu-Tang kick earlier this year,
nice.
and that heavily inspired RZA. So checked it out. It was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's actually one of my favorite martial arts movies. And that one that's one I've watched I've rewatched like several times. The thing about me is like when it comes to martial arts, like a lot of people are into Chinese martial arts films and films from Hong Kong and stuff. And I like a lot of those too, but I've always like preferred Japanese martial arts films personally. Those just have always appealed to me more. Like I'd rather watch like one of the Lone Wolf and Cub movies than like Bruce Lee, as much as I love Bruce Lee's films. Yeah, but I don't know. I still like Hong Kong martial arts. I mean, the martial arts genre in general has grown so much over the last 20 years, and so many more cultures are starting to become implemented and involved in it now that like I'm just really excited to see where that specific kind of movie is going.
Yeah.
One of my all-time heroes is Jackie Chan, even though he's politically, supports China or whatever. But I just love his early films a shit ton too.
Yeah, politics aside, he's brilliant. Yeah. So, by the way, do you have a favorite Jackie Chan movie or no?
I mean, just for the drunken master, is it called, or the drunken?
Yeah, there's
that one. The first one, I think.
Yeah.
Just because I just love the idea of a drunken brawler.
Yeah.
Like in one fighting game I play, there's a drunken brawler and he's fun. He's just drinking and flopping around on the screen fighting people.
Yeah. Oh, what?
Probably my favorite.
Was that? What game was that? Was that Soul Calibur or something like that?
Dead or Alive.
There you go.
Yeah. The booby one.
Yeah. Which, on a side note, by the way, one of the things about that game that always puzzled me, because I played the first Dead or Alive game on PlayStation, and in the options menu, there's a mode that like you go through like the option, because I was a dorky kid and I always went to the options menu first instead of just hitting start. And in the options menu, like there was a option that said bounce mode. And I kept it off for a while, but then like one day, like, I got curious and I turned it on and then tried fighting, and it was really creepy looking actually. Like they were like wavy.
In those first games, it's bananas. Like it's just
awful.
It's fucking funny though.
Yeah.
And like in other versions, instead of bounce mode, you have to turn your age to 99. Like you set your age, and it's just a slider. It's really just a slider of how bouncy it is.
Yeah.
It's 99 the max, like I think 18 the lowest.
That's hysterical.
Yeah. And I will say I love those games, just not because of the boobs. It's a genuinely good fighter game.
Yeah, it's fighting games. Yeah, agreed.
Anyway.
I think everybody needs to have a conversation about Dead or Alive once in a while.
Criminally underrated.
Yeah, I grew up with the posters of that game spread around my room.
I have a Japanese poster of the movie that was made.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I have the movie on DVD too, because what actually brought me to being an Xbox buyer was Dead or Alive 2. Like they remade it for the Xbox exclusively, and I liked Halo, of course, but what made me buy that an Xbox was Dead or Alive,
Yeah.
and like it had a really fun online community, and the game was just really well developed and shit. But it just gets all that slack from the fighting game community because boobs. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's, oh, boobs, it's not serious. When I honestly think it has one of the more in-depth fighting games out there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've always liked those games.
Yeah.
So. But I haven't played any of the more recent ones, or actually not recent. I haven't played any of the later ones, is what I mean. Like
Yeah, it's tough now because
Yeah.
it's under a different, Tomono Itagaki,
yeah.
who made Ninja Gaiden and created the franchise. He left after 4, and
Mm.
now you can tell it's corporatized. They're selling, fucking bikini suits and everything,
that's annoying.
all those microtransactions.
Yeah. I kind of
Like the thing is, it's sad because there's a good core under it. You can just tell they're just money grabbing. Like, stop it. Maybe like fix some minor things you have to fix, and you'll have an amazing fighting game. But they're just like, nah, we're gonna sell more bikinis.
It's so irritating, man. Yeah. I don't really play video games anymore anyway, just because, like, I don't know, it's just too expensive for me right now. Like,
Yeah. Yep.
maybe in the future I'll get back into gaming, but I can't do it right now. So, okay, so yeah, 36 Chamber of Shaolin. That's a great movie. Yeah, no, good choice, honestly. And yeah, that's one I wish more people had. I think that one's pretty underrated, actually. Like,
Yeah.
I know a lot of martial arts fans that like it, but I feel like there's appeal in it. Like, even like, I actually think it has a genuinely good story, and I think that it's actually well made. So
Yeah, I do want to get into a martial arts movie kick because I never saw the Ip Mans either.
oh, those are good.
Yeah, I heard those are amazing. I haven't seen them,
Yeah.
and I've always been wanting to, but
Yeah. Okay, so I think it's your choice now. Yeah.
my number 3 is a movie I have, or more or less a franchise I have flipped on. Not necessarily flipped, but like change of opinion due to just what has come out in the past. It's Star Wars.
Mm.
And my flip is the prequels are better than this trilogy. Change my mind. I don't give a, like this. Like if I were to rank them, it would be like Empire Strikes Back,
Mm.
A New Hope, Return of the Jedi, A New Hope, Episode 3, one, Force Awakens, 2, Last Jedi, and then like just the buzz around, like, because I said, oh, maybe the third one's gonna redeem this trilogy. Doesn't look like it's happening, so pretty sure the prequels are now better than this third trilogy,
Yeah,
which
well,
doesn't make sense to me because it was a Disney thing, and they took all the time in the world to plan out the Marvel universe, yet they just quickly went into production with these 3, where it is something that could print money for them if they just tried, and like now it's just getting shit on by everybody because they rushed it. I feel like they didn't. For the prequels, again, this is why a defense of it. Like you at least could tell they were doing a 3-movie story arc of how Anakin became Vader, and that's an actual thing they tried to do from the beginning. Like from what I can tell from the beginning, they didn't really have an idea what they were doing with this. They just started production and started winging it, and you can fucking tell. So yeah, that's my number 3 is the prequels of Star Wars being better than this last trilogy.
Well, I wasn't going to talk about this yet, but I did actually see the new Star Wars movie. I don't want to say anything about it yet, because I kind of want to wait till both of you have seen it.
Yeah, I'm seeing it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I know that, personally, I like pretty much all the Star Wars movies except for Episode 2.
Yeah, I like the Star Wars movies.
Yeah. But yeah, I did see this new one, and I won't say I won't share my thoughts about it, whether I liked it or not, because I don't want to influence your opinion.
Yeah.
But I would be curious to discuss it, honestly, because Well, I don't want to say.
Yeah, I'm sure one of the next records weekend then.
Yeah.
It'd be cool. I forgot what my third choice was. One thing I will say about the new trilogy, though, of Star Wars movies, I honestly, The Force Awakens, like, as much as people liked it and as much as I liked it, I didn't like the fact that it was kind of copying A New Hope.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like that, but I also didn't mind it because what else? I mean, they could have, of course, done something else, but it wasn't the worst idea of trying to reboot a franchise.
Yeah.
It's-
No, I
how it
agree.
works, but, like, they could have done something better again if they planned it out like they did with their Marvel movies.
Yeah, I think like my feeling is that because I still remember the feeling that I had when I saw Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, in the theater. I remember that. I have a very distinct memory of seeing that in the theater and loving the hell out of that because it was
Me
a new
too.
Star Wars movie, and so The Force Awakens, I had that same experience as well. Like, oh, a new Star Wars movie, this is so exciting. However, I don't know really. Like, I feel like that kind of clouded my judgment as to whether or not like I could see it as like a good movie, and like I don't really know. Like, I don't know really how I feel about The Force Awakens because I enjoy the experience of watching it, but I don't like the fact that it's essentially just like a copying of A New Hope. So
Yeah.
so that's something I kind of feel because I actually don't want these films to pander to Star Wars fans. I don't want them to be all fan servicey and all that stuff. I
Right.
actually want them to be their own films.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about the prequels was
Yeah,
that they felt like their
exactly.
own films, you know? So these new Star Wars movies, the fact that they're kind of trying to replicate a lot of the stuff that was like good about the original trilogy, I just am not really so into that, you know?
Yep, I agree. Yeah.
So, my number 3 choice is a movie called The Bird People of China. I had heard of it. It's by Takashi Miike, who has done about 1 billion different films of varying genres and types. And out of all of his films I've seen, this one actually might be my favorite. And that's saying a lot because he actually has made a lot of films that I really like, including some martial arts movies, by the way. 13 Assassins, I really, really love. Even though it is kind of a remake of Seven Samurai, I still love the hell out of that movie. He's also done some amazing horror movies. You know, he did Audition, which is considered to be one of the scariest movies of all time. You know, this is a guy whose filmography is actually pretty rich. But having said that, The Bird People of China was very distinct, and out of all of his films, like, it felt to me like perhaps his most personal, and I just loved it. I absolutely adored it. I want to watch it again now. So yeah, that's my number 3 choice.
I don't think I've ever heard of that one.
Yeah, not a lot of people have.
Yeah.
Like most of his other films I know of, but that one I haven't heard of.
Yeah. That one I definitely would recommend. It's a bit of an art film, you know. It doesn't have sort of like the standard type of plot that you'd expect from that kind of movie, but I felt like it was definitely unique, and I haven't seen a film quite like it. It has a really cool quality to it, and I would recommend it. I'd be curious as to what you guys would think of it. You know, if you guys ever get around to watching it, like I don't know how easy it is to find. You know, I won't say how I watched it, but yeah, I would recommend it, like, if you guys ever get a chance. So.
Okay.
Well, my number 3 is something we talked about on this podcast. Things.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Excellent.
Oh, no.
I don't something about it. It's been in my head ever since. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it's stuck with me.
Yeah, it stuck with me too, I gotta say.
I mean, me too, yeah.
I'm super glad we watched it, I must say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though, like, the experience of watching it was,
Unsettling.
yeah, maybe not the most pleasant thing in the world. Like, I I'm still like laughing about it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want to hear our thoughts, listen to episode 5 of our podcast.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
yeah,
Good.
we have a lot to say about that one.
Number 2 now.
Mhm.
All right, so this one actually fits. It's kind of recent, but it's Train to Busan.
Yeah.
The Korean zombie flick.
Hmm.
I mean, there's not too much to say about it. It is a zombie flick,
Yeah.
not breaking any new grounds technically, but it was really well done and didn't like. I mean, there's always that oversaturation of zombie films, of course, but I don't know, this one was nice.
This one kept it low key, I felt.
Yeah.
I love Train to Busan. Yeah, that one. And you are right. It doesn't really like break any new ground. It doesn't try to do anything. It doesn't try to reinvent the zombie formula. It's just a solid picture, you know. And yeah, I think it. Yeah, no, I loved it. So
Yeah, I heard about it, but I watched it this year, like in the summer or something, and I thought it was awesome. Good zombie film if you like zombie movies.
yeah.
And the sequel's supposed to come out next year, at least in Korea.
I
Cool.
didn't even know that was coming out.
Yeah. Nice.
There's also the animated sequel to Soul Station.
Nice.
Oh.
I haven't
Yeah.
watched that one yet, but
I haven't watched it either, but yeah, Train to Busan though, it's a good movie to recommend to people who love zombie movies. But I also think it holds appeal outside of the zombie genre a little bit. Like I think that it's well made enough and it's compelling enough that that it can go alongside films that may not necessarily be like the kind of films that be for zombie fans, but would be good. You know,
definitely. It's a well-made film
yeah.
all around.
My number 2 choice. Now this is it's a mini series. It's I finally got around to watching The Pacific, which is, if you guys don't know what that is, so do you ever hear of Band of Brothers?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
It's basically Band of Brothers except from the perspective of the Pacific side, basically. I've
heard of this one.
yeah. So I finally watched that
Is
this
it a
year.
miniseries too? Or
Yes. I finally watched that this year and I adored it just as much as I loved Band of Brothers. Both of those are solid miniseries and I would recommend them equally. I probably don't seem like the type of person that would be into war stories and stuff because I tend to not really talk about that kind of thing very much, but I actually can get very emotionally involved in a series like that. And I value those kinds of stories a lot. You know, I think people in the military, you know, I think it means a lot to me. I've had family members that have been in the military, and even during World War II, and so like I watch something like that, and it does kind of speak to me in certain ways. So probably more of like a personal choice, maybe not one I'd say like everybody should watch, because I know not everybody's going to be interested in watching a mini series about World War II. I totally get why, but that's the kind of thing that I love and can really sink my teeth into. So The Pacific is my number 2 choice.
Yeah, I'm not usually into war stuff, but like every once in a while there's a really good one, and that seemed like it was.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. So.
Well, my number 2 is Creep Show.
Ah, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, the Shudder series came out, so I wanted to watch this before checking that out, which I never ended up checking that out. But Creep Show's really awesome horror anthology.
Yeah. And I actually find that pretty scary too. The part where the guy gets buried up to his neck on the beach.
Yeah.
That's, in my opinion, the scariest part. And then I was afraid of cockroaches when I was younger, so
Oh yeah.
that whole part was not so pleasant for me to sit through.
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
Yeah. And then the part involving Stephen King's cameo as the farmer with the killer moss or whatever. There's like that one I find really funny, but I also find that one really disturbing too. Like the ending to that one, like actually does like kind of creep me out. So yeah, Creepshow is great.
Yeah, and then that creature one, I don't remember what the segment was called, but
the box or the crate.
Yeah, that Tom Savini made that creature. It looks so good.
Yeah, the makeup effects from that were really cool. Some people like the first story, Father's Day, but I think that's probably the only part of the film that never quite, for some reason, that one story, the first story, the Father's Day one, I don't know. I don't even remember it actually. So
I just remember I want my cake.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. I was like, uh-oh.
Okay. So mine, I'll just do a quick little tangent on my number one, which is more fitting. It would be the Tim Burton Batman 89, I think, with Danny DeVito. Is that the same one? Is that the one with Danny DeVito?
Oh, the Batman
Whichever one has Danny DeVito.
Batman Returns, yeah.
Yeah, that one. I saw that on TV and I thought it was actually pretty decent. Because I don't like Batman at all, really, but like I fucking love those penguins with rockets on them, and I actually thought the Catwoman character was interesting in this one, and then it just made me kind of think that I don't think Batman's really a kid's hero.
I agree.
Like the other Tim Burton-y ones with, those were Tim Burton ones with like fucking Batman Returns and Freeze and whatever. Are those Tim Burtons? Or
Batman Forever and Batman and Robin were by Joel Schumacher.
Okay.
And then Batman and Batman Returns were by Tim Burton.
Okay, so yeah, the Schumacher ones were bad. Just because I think they tried to make it kiddie.
Yeah.
But like I think ultimately Batman is not for kids if you do it right. Minus the animated series can be for kids and adults. I've heard good things about some of the runs because I like Batman Beyond, which is like future Batman. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't like Batman. But just kind of made me come around more to Batman as a hero because it's not for kids. I don't think because the actual good parts of it are more mature.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then my real number one is just a rediscovery, I'd say, but it is a film's it's the Harry Potter franchise.
Yeah.
So I always kind of put off the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them just because I wanted more Harry Potter, not like more side story of whatever the fuck they're going with. Like I wanted more, because it was my understanding is Newt Scamander's finding beasts and capturing them, and not too much about like the actual like wizarding shit. But I was pleasantly surprised that there was enough wizarding stuff in it. And then the second one I watched, it wasn't as bad as everyone thought it was or made it out. I mean, I loved like pretense Johnny Depp. Now I think he's just kind of gone off the rails. And I also don't like the whole Dumbledore side plot, but it gives me, the reason why I have it as number one is it gives me hope for the future, especially with Disney doing all these franchises, and Harry Potter is one of the only like non-Disney franchises left.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that, because I'm pretty sure they like kind of stopped production on it. There's going to be like 5 of the Fantastic Beasts movies, and I think they kind of stopped production or halted for a little while after the shitty reception. So, and like, and J.K. Rowling actually, like her website, it was Pottermore. Now they rebranded it. It has a bunch of really good backstory.
Yeah.
Like there's not like full-fledged stories, but it like expands on the wizarding world. Like I guess what like Silmarillion is for Lord of the Rings, like a more encyclopedia, historic kind of stuff, and it actually is really good info and stuff in there. So I believe if they do it right, they could easily make another huge Marvel franchise just with Harry Potter.
That'd be cool.
That's what I want because I love Harry Potter, and I hope they do it.
I mean, my feeling is that they shouldn't have made movies. What they should have done is they should have made like an English like TV miniseries of each film. That's what I had, and even like when I was reading the books initially, because that was a thing, the miniseries, and
It wasn't that much though. Like it was niche, kind of never in America.
Yeah, that's true. But I still think though that like it was the kind of series where the level of popularity was so immense. I don't think it would have been that hard for them to have actually figured out a way to get the money together to make like a good series out of that book. Because when you look at the films and you see how the films are trying to tell these stories and how they have to condense so many aspects of them, it's like it becomes tough, because they do have to exist separately from the books, because
they are different canons too.
Yeah. So I get that aspect of it, but I would still like to see like where the Harry Potter series goes.
And one thing on that is I think it was just also when they came out, it's like it was a Hollywood, like they're not gonna, like now if they would never made them, I could definitely see them making a series of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But back then I can definitely understand why they made them movies.
Yeah.
Because no one's watching that. TV wasn't like it is now back then. And I can definitely see them if they wanted to redo the series on Netflix.
Yeah.
I think would be the perfect spot to do it.
Yeah.
But I don't know how contractually obligated or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I can understand. I'm just thinking like English television.
Yeah.
Because
like
English
BBC
TV has always been huge.
They always do that.
And they've done that. They did that with the Chronicles of Narnia in the 80s. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, and Neverwhere. I mean, they've adapted like Neil Gaiman's like books for English television in the past. I mean, they've done that kind of thing before.
Yeah.
But maybe
the only thing is, I think they were just money too.
Yeah.
Money was the biggest factor. It's like,
yeah,
we can do that probably, maybe, but Hollywood.
That's a little better.
Yeah.
And not only that, but as much as people like want it to be different, like miniseries, Harry Potter, I mean, it's for kids. Kids just generally aren't really into miniseries all that much.
It has adult themes and shit, but like, I understand that.
Yeah. But oh well. But I do, I hope that the series goes somewhere, because I haven't read any of the books outside of the seven in the series, and so. My number one choice, so this probably won't really appeal to very many people because it's a cheesy family movie. It's called The Martian Child. It has John Cusack in it. I'm not going to talk much about it. A coworker /
I think I saw that.
You did?
He like not adopted, but like a kid that thinks he's an alien.
Yeah. So you did see that one?
Yeah. I don't remember much of it, but I definitely saw it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, a coworker / neighbor / friend recommended it to me, and I saw it, and I really, really liked it. It's a pretty dumb family movie. Yeah. Like it is the kind of movie that has to they do eventually try to have a plot and create conflict in a story where you don't really need to have conflict. They have a subplot about the social worker. They have a subplot about a sister like making mistakes and all this stuff. But, so all that stuff like didn't need to be in the movie. But I really liked the message, and I liked the fact that it was a family movie that wasn't about something that most family movies are. Like most family movies are about things that just aren't interesting. And this was actually about kind of a social issue. And I thought it was really well done, honestly. And I thought John Cusack was great in it. So that's my number one choice. Nice. That's out of all the films I saw this year, like that I hadn't seen before, that one was the one that surprised me the most. So.
So my number one is Rosemary's Baby.
Oh yeah. That's a good movie.
I've had the Criterion Blu-ray for like 5 years or something. Never watched it.
Nice.
Like some aspect of it, like it always seemed boring to me. Yeah. But I finally watched it, and it was really.
It was really what?
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially the last half. That's what really did it for me.
That's what makes the movie, the second half of the film, like the build up, and then when it gets to, what happens and how all that stuff unfolds. That movie's terrifying. I love that film, and I love films that take place in really isolated, small locations like that too. You know, that kind of
Yeah.
mess with your. It's like a head trip, you know. So,
Is that the? I haven't seen it, but I want to see. Is that the one that? No, it's Sophie's Choice. It's a different thing, right?
Meryl Streep.
I don't know what the choice was, but
Well,
I've always
if you ever see
avoided-
Sophie's Choice, you'll definitely find out.
I've heard it's an. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, Rosemary's Baby is this one. It's about this this woman who she ends up, you know, getting pregnant, and then she starts to have reason to believe that her pregnancy is part of a conspiracy involving like a demonic cult, like,
Yeah.
and
I
that
think
she's
I
like
knew
been
that much,
impregnated
at least,
by
yeah.
and but it's like an atmosphere heavy type of film, you know. It's another one of those.
I've heard it's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
One on my list.
yeah, it's good. It's really scary, and the ending is just, like the second half of it is like what makes it really scary. So I've also read the book, which a friend of mine told me they read at a baby shower, which I don't know why you would do that, but God. And the book was written, I think, by the same person that did the Stepford Wives, so which is another kind of horror movie, or horror story that a lot of people really like from that time period. So, but I never actually saw the Stepford Wives. So,
Yeah.
cool. All right. Well, does anybody have any honorable mentions? I don't. So.
No.
No.
I had a hard time coming up with this list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe in a couple weeks we can do the new releases from 2019
Yeah.
when everything's out on Blu-ray. I don't know.
Yeah. That'd be
I'll try
cool.
and catch up on the ones I want to see. Yeah.
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 There's a few I'm still missing.
Yeah, I think that, you know, this list, you know, we didn't have a tremendous amount of time to prepare for it because, you know, we kind of decided on it last minute, you know, so obviously these aren't final, like all the lists that we do are never final, you know, but regardless, it is a list and it has given us an opportunity to have a dialogue.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so, and actually it's good to hear like your thoughts about Harry Potter, I gotta say. So.
Yeah, I love Harry Potter.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, excellent. All right. Well, have a good day, everybody. And lots of love and lots of luck. And Christmas is over, so yeah. So I don't have to do that anymore. Maybe Happy New Year. I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably not.
It
We'll
won't be
find
New
out.
Year's yet either.
Oh, okay. Well, then don't have a Happy New Year
It'll be
until
like
New Year's
a
actually
couple
happens.
days later.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good. All right. Well, peace.
New Year's anyways.
Yeah. Happy New Year's anyway.